Marcel Henri Félix Petiot was a French physician and serial killer who lived from 17 January 1897 to 25 May 1946. Following the World War II discovery of 23 people's remains in the basement of his Parisian home, he was found guilty of multiple murders. Though the precise number is still unknown, he is thought to have killed between 60 and 200 victims during his lifetime. In spite of his early history of mental illness and criminal behavior, Petiot enlisted in the First World War, completed an accelerated medical program, and started a questionable medical career that involved prescribing drugs and performing abortions. Scandal, theft, and corruption characterized his political career. Petiot ran a phony escape network. He, in the midst of World War II, provided passage to the ones desired through the Germans for a fee, best to homicide them, thieve their valuables, and cast off their bodies. In total, he became suspected of around 60 murders. However, the stays of best 23 sufferers have been discovered inside the basement of his Paris home. Captured in 1944, Petiot claimed to be a resistance hero who killed best the enemies of France. He became convicted of 26 counts of homicide and became accomplished through guillotine in 1946. His lifestyles and heinous crimes had been depicted in movie and comedian books. Early lifestyles. Marcel Petiot became born on the 17th January 1897 in Auxerre-Yonne in North Crucial, France. During his teenage years, he robbed a postbox and became charged with harm to public belongings and theft. Petiot became ordered to go through a psychiatric evaluation, ensuing in prices being brushed off, while it became judged that he had an intellectual contamination. Later debts make numerous claims of Petiot's delinquency and crook acts in the course of his youth. However, it's miles unknown whether or not they have been invented afterwards for public consumption. A psychiatrist reaffirmed Petiot's intellectual contamination on the 26th March 1914. After being expelled from college many times, he completed his training in a unique academy in Paris in July 1915. Petiot volunteered for the French army in World War I, getting into Carrier in January 1916. He became wounded and gassed inside the Second Battle of the Aisne and exhibited extra signs and symptoms of an intellectual breakdown. Petiot became dispatched to numerous relaxation homes, wherein he became arrested for stealing military blankets, morphine, and different military supplies, in addition to wallets, photographs, and letters. He became jailed in Orléans. In a psychiatric sanatorium in Fleury-les-Aubrais, Petiot became once more identified with numerous intellectual ailments, however became lower back to the front in June 1918. He became transferred 3 weeks later after he allegedly injured his foot with a grenade, however became connected to a brand new regiment in September. A new analysis became sufficient to get him discharged with an incapacity pension, medical and political career. After the struggle fair, Petiot entered the elevated training software supposed for struggle fair veterans, finished scientific college in 8 months, and have become an intern on the Intellectual Sanatorium in Évreux. He acquired his scientific diploma in December 1921 and relocated to Villeneuve-sur-Yonne, wherein he acquired fee for his offerings, each from the sufferers and from authorities' scientific help funds. At this time, Petiot became already the usage of addictive narcotics. While operating at Villeneuve-sur-Yonne, he won a recognition for doubtful scientific practices, inclusive of offering narcotics and acting unlawful abortions, in addition to for petty theft. On 11 March 1944, Petiot's neighbors in Rue-le-Soeur complained to police approximately a bad stench inside the vicinity and big volumes of smoke billowing from a chimney of the residence. Fearing a chimney hearthplace, the police summoned firemen who entered the residence and determined a fantastic hearthplace in a coal range inside the basement. In the hearthplace and scattered inside the basement have been human stays. Article of newspaper Le Matin for 14 March 1944, reporting the invention of 21 Rue-le-Soeur. In addition to the ones determined in his basement, human stays have been additionally determined in a pit crammed in part with quicklime inside the outdoor and in a canvas bag. In his home, sufficient frame components have been determined to account for, as a minimum, 10 victims. Also scattered in the course of his assets have been suitcases, clothing, and various assets of his victims. Petiot turned into imprisoned in La Santé prison. He claimed that he turned into harmless and that he had killed best enemies of France. He stated that he had determined the pile of our bodies in 21 Rue-le-Soeur in February 1944 however, had assumed that they have been collaborators killed via way of means of contributors of his resistance network. However, the police located that Petiot had no pals in any of the important resistance businesses. Some of the resistance businesses he observed had by no means existed, and there has been no evidence of any of his claimed exploits. Prosecutors ultimately charged him with as a minimum 27 murders for profit. Their estimate of his profits turned into as lots as 200 million francs. On 25 May 1946, Petiot became beheaded after a live of some days because of a hassle with the discharge mechanism of the guillotine and buried at Ivry Cemetery. In famous culture, Petiot's homicide of Jews in his fraudulent breakout community have been depicted with the aid of using the 1990 French film Dr. Petiot that chronicles his existence among 1941 and 1944. Petiot became portrayed with the aid of using actor Michel Serrault. So guys, if you want to listen more stuff like that, then follow and subscribe Mike and Gun Studios. Thanks CX for watching.